I never imagined a court order would steal my voice. I was a mother fighting for my child's well-being in family court. Then, the gag order came. Suddenly, I couldn't speak about my case. Not to friends, not to family, not even to advocates who could help. I felt utterly alone, trapped in a system that seemed determined to silence me. This is my story, but it's also the story of countless parents across America. They are silenced by gag orders in family court. These orders are meant to protect privacy. However, they are often used to silence parents. They prevent them from speaking out about injustices they experience. This is a chilling reality that strikes at the heart of our democracy.
The First Amendment to the United States Constitution is pretty clear. It says Congress can't make any law stopping people from speaking their minds. It protects freedom of the press. It safeguards the right to assemble peacefully. It ensures we can petition the government when we have a beef. These 5 freedoms are the bedrock of our democracy. They ensure a government accountable to the people. Think of the First Amendment as a shield. It protects us from government overreach. It lets us criticize our leaders. It allows us to challenge the status quo. Without it, dissent is stifled, truth is suppressed, power goes unchecked. The First Amendment is especially crucial when it comes to our justice system. Courts are supposed to be open and transparent. Public scrutiny is vital. It helps keep the system honest. It ensures fairness. The First Amendment protects our right to speak out against injustice. It allows us to hold the powerful accountable. That's why gag orders in family court are so troubling. They undermine the very principles this amendment was designed to protect. They silence voices that need to be heard. They shroud court proceedings in secrecy. This secrecy prevents the public from knowing what's really happening in these courts.
Gag orders are court orders that prohibit someone from speaking about a case. They're sometimes used in criminal trials to protect the fairness of the proceedings. However, in family court, they're often used more broadly. They can prevent parents from speaking about anything related to their case. This includes allegations of abuse, neglect, or bias within the court. The stated purpose of these gag orders is to protect the privacy of the children involved. This is a noble goal. No one wants to see children exploited or their privacy violated. However, in practice, these orders often have the opposite effect. They shield abusers and silence victims. Gag orders create an imbalance of power. They give an advantage to the party who is more likely to be abusive or hiding information. This is often the party with more resources and influence. Meanwhile, the other parent, often the one trying to protect their children, is left powerless and silenced.
The human cost of these gag orders is immense. Imagine being accused of something you didn't do. Now imagine being forbidden from defending yourself. This is the reality for many parents silenced by gag orders in family court. They are stripped of their right to due process. They are denied the opportunity to clear their name. I was accused of abuse. I was prohibited from speaking about my case. I felt helpless and alone. It felt like I was being buried alive, unable to scream for help.
Another mother, subject to a similar order, described the experience as being trapped in a nightmare. She said, "They took my children, my reputation, and then they took my voice."
These are not isolated incidents. They represent a systemic problem within family courts. The overuse of gag orders has created a culture of fear and silence. Parents are afraid to speak out. They fear retaliation from the court or the other party. This silence only serves to protect abusers and perpetuate injustice.
Section 5. A chilling effect, stifling free speech and accountability. The use of gag orders in family court has a chilling effect on free speech. When parents are silenced, the truth is suppressed. This lack of transparency allows for misconduct and abuse to continue unchecked. It also erodes public trust in the judicial system. When courts operate in secrecy, it breeds suspicion. It creates an environment where abuses of power can flourish. This is especially dangerous in family courts. The stakes are incredibly high. Children's lives are on the line. The lack of transparency also prevents much-needed scrutiny of the family court system itself. Reforms are needed to address systemic issues, but these reforms are impossible to achieve when those most affected are silenced. Gag orders create a perfect storm for injustice. They protect the powerful and silence the vulnerable. They prevent accountability. They erode public trust. This is a stain on our justice system. It demands our attention. It demands action. Section 6. Erosion of democracy when silence reigns. The suppression of free speech in family courts has broader implications for our democracy as a whole. When any group of people is silenced, it weakens the fabric of our society. It sets a dangerous precedent that threatens the very foundation of our freedoms. The right to free speech is not absolute. There are legitimate reasons to limit speech in certain circumstances. However, these limits should be narrowly tailored. They should be applied in a way that respects the fundamental importance of this right. The overreach of gag orders in family court goes far beyond any reasonable justification. This erosion of free speech is not just a problem for the families directly affected, it's a problem for all of us. When one group's rights are trampled upon, it undermines the rights of all. It weakens the very notion of a just and equitable society.
Section 7. The need for transparency and oversight. The overuse of gag orders in family court highlights the urgent need for greater transparency and oversight within the system. These courts operate with far too much secrecy. This lack of accountability allows for abuses of power to go unchecked. One solution is to require judges to provide written justification for issuing gag orders. This would introduce a level of accountability and transparency that is currently lacking. It would also help ensure that these orders are only used when absolutely necessary. Another important step is to increase public awareness of this issue. Many people are simply unaware of the widespread use of gag orders in family court. By shining a light on this problem, we can create pressure for reform. Section 8. Unmasking injustice, advocacy and reform. Advocacy groups and legal organizations are working tirelessly to challenge the overuse of gag orders and bring much-needed reform to the family court system. These groups provide legal representation to silenced parents. They raise awareness about this issue. They lobby for legislative changes. One such organization is fighting for the rights of parents to speak out against injustices they've experienced. They provide resources and support to families navigating the complexities of the family court system. They are also working to educate lawmakers about the need for reform. These organizations are a beacon of hope for silenced parents. They are fighting for a fairer, more just family court system. They are giving a voice to the voiceless.
Section 9. A call to action, amplifying the voices of silenced parents. We can't afford to be bystanders in the face of injustice. We must all speak out against the silencing of parents in family court. This is not just a matter of individual rights, it's a matter of protecting the very foundation of our democracy. Here's what you can do. Educate yourself. Learn about the issue of gag orders in family court. Share this information with others. The more people who are aware of this problem, the more likely we are to see change. Support advocacy groups. Donate to organizations that are fighting for the rights of silenced parents. Contact your elected officials. Urge them to support legislation that protects the free speech rights of parents involved in family court proceedings. Our voices matter. Together we can make a difference. Section 10, Protecting Our Freedoms, Safeguarding Democracy. The fight to protect free speech in family court is about more than just this one issue. It is about protecting a fundamental right that is essential to a functioning democracy. When we allow the government to silence its critics, we all become more vulnerable. The right to free speech is not a partisan issue, as it is a fundamental human right. It is the cornerstone of a free and open society. We must remain vigilant in our defense of this right. We must hold our elected officials accountable for upholding it. We must never take our freedoms for granted. They were hard-won and must be fiercely protected. The fight to protect free speech in family court is a fight for the soul of our democracy. Section 11, Towards a Just System, Upholding Rights, Empowering Families. The family court system is supposed to protect families. It's supposed to ensure the well-being of children. However, when it silences parents and operates in secrecy, it fails to fulfill its purpose. It's time for a change. We need a family court system that prioritizes transparency, accountability, and the fundamental right to free speech. This means reforming the use of gag orders. It means ensuring that parents have a voice in proceedings that directly impact their lives and the lives of their children. It means creating a system where justice is not only served but is also seen to be served. The journey towards a more just and equitable family court system is ongoing. But with continued awareness, advocacy, and action, we can create a system that truly protects families and upholds the fundamental principles of our democracy.